basic guide concerning biological drawing. Rules in biological drawings. Please, this is just an easy way to earn mark for yourself. In biology, someone might draw something and say, oh my God, this is a born artist, and the person will score 0 because we are not giving marks to artistic drawing. There are rules. So it's a kind of, it's tactical drawing because there are features. That's why they usually say annotated. You need to show us the basic features because it's meant to represent something, not just to look nice to the eyes. So rules in biological drawing first is this. Your drawing must have caption. Your drawing must have caption or what we call title. It has its own mark. Then secondly, of course, it's obvious. You don't draw with pen in biology. You draw with pencil. Probably HB pencil, sharp pointed pencil. Don't draw with pen. Then, I want to tell you something. In biological drawing, they don't just come, maybe I want to draw a toad in this form. Okay. Yes, of course. We have, let me start this way. Okay. So remember, I'll give you the cheat on how to make these drawings easy for yourself. See, it looks like I'm joking, but if you look around, maybe in biology, this dotted line is not actually allowed unless you are using cross-sectional drawing. What I mean is that don't expect anybody to come and mark you like this and say 8/10. No. There are things that will give you mark in your drawing, and those things that will give you mark is what I'm teaching you now. First of all, you must have a title. Don't say they know what they ask you to draw. For example, make a label drawing 8 to 10 cm cube of specimen A. They will give you space. You now just come and start drawing. They know what they asked me to draw. No. Just write title. Write title according to the question. Drawing of specimen A. Simple. Or you can say drawing of lumbar. You can mention that specimen if you don't want to use the letter designated to them. Then, rule number 3. The size of your diagram. You must obey that size. Size of your drawing must not exceed the range given. And this is where there are many misinterpretations and misconceptions. So if you have to draw a specimen 8 to 10 cm long, please, it doesn't mean that 8 is the width while 10 is the length. Okay, 8 to 10 is the major length of your drawing. Nobody gives you width or the length, no. The rule means that if you draw 8 is correct, if you draw 9 is correct, if you draw 10 is correct, it's a range. Then if you draw 11, you are up the range. If you draw 7, you are up the range. But you know what? Even if you draw 7.5, the marker don't have time to go and measure the thing. But the rule is that don't move away from that. So to guide you in the size of your drawing, if you are asked to draw 8 to 10, maybe using this specimen here, the major length is this way, meaning this is what you are obeying because you can't use this pattern. It means that you don't exceed it. You don't exceed that 8 to 10 while drawing. And if your specimen have antenna, the antenna is part of the length. If it has a tail, the tail is part of the length. Because some students will tell you, no, how can tail? You now extend longer. No. So your size of diagram must be obeyed. So to make it possible, if you are drawing, for example, a lizard, this is the major length. You draw it this way. You don't draw a lizard standing this way. It's not in order actually. Then if you are asked to draw a feather, this should be your major length. You see something like this? Or you are asked to draw a gill. You take this, gill of fish, take it this way. So, but before you start, use your ruler, mark 0, and mark 9 if you want to draw 9. Not just make a dot so that you don't exceed it. In that case, you have known you can't exceed this. And when this is my 9, for example, you see that this drawing has not reached the required length. You extend. So you have to be proportional as much as you can in your drawing. Don't use thick lines, another rule, light lines. So I just want to use this easy structure. Okay. Don't wait for the marker to tell you this is 8 to 10. What they mean is this major length. Nobody tells you from here to here. No. So in this case, the size of the drawing has a mark. So while marking a diagram in biology, you see them right. Every diagram has its own marking scheme. CA caption, or they may write it TL, title. Then SD is constant, size of your drawing.
Hi, my name is Cheryl.
And I'm Jennifer.
Guess what? There's a channel called Her Majesty Easy Word Science.
And you know the best part?
It
makes science so easy. Wow.
It makes science easy, simplified, and very, very fun.
Guess what? Rocket science ain't rocket science anymore.
It's now ABC.
Like if you did science your entire life.
Another thing about Her Majesty Easy Word Science channel is that he makes available laboratory equipment and reagents.
Guess the best part? If chemistry has been hard for you, he does tutorials.
And another thing is, when you order for these things, they are high quality and they are also cheap and affordable for anybody.
If you want to order, just look at the number below the screen.
And don't forget to subscribe and hit the little notification button down below.
Don't forget to share, of course, obviously there's love in sharing.
Thank you! We'll see you there.
Then, very, very important is your magnification. In biology practicals, each of your specimen must have a magnification. So magnification has its own mark. So I wonder what you are doing, why you lose the mark on caption or title, lose the mark on magnification. So magnification is the science in science. Magnification, though, is physics that usually do it, but it's still the same thing. Here, magnification is still the image size all over object size, meaning to put it to biological way, you say size of diagram. That's size of diagram you drew then over size of the specimen itself. That's what we call magnification. 8 to 10, you have been provided already with the size of diagram. Then size of the specimen, this is where there will be many variations because the marker or the examiner don't know the actual size of the specimen provided for you. This is why you won't waste your time solving this. Remember, I wrote down this to teach you that in the exam, you don't solve this for the person. Just write magnification and write direct. Because of the fact that size of specimen varies, even when they say provide an atlas or provide a thoracic vertebra, not all the rabbits have equal sized thoracic vertebra. Not all rabbits have equal sized cervical. Not even all the cervical vertebrae are equal. But since they say of lower mammal, there is a size that is expected of it. A rabbit cannot have an atlas or a cervical vertebra that is 0.1 cm. You know it's impossible. That one cannot happen. So we are expecting at least 1 cm, 2 cm as the thing. But the secret here in your magnification, watch me. If the specimen the exact size of the specimen cannot enter into the textbook, like if you are asked to draw a man or cannot enter into your answer script. If you are asked to draw me now as a specimen, it's obvious that my whole size will not get into your answer script, which means I am the specimen. That's my size. I am going to be bigger than what you drew, which means the number above is going to be less than the number below, which means if you are drawing a bigger specimen, your magnification should be less than 1. Your magnification should be what? Less than 1. Because if the size of your drawing is less than the size of your image, magnification becomes less than 1. But if the size of drawing is above or bigger than the real object, for example, if you are asked to draw a mosquito, which was provided for you, there is no way you can accurately draw the size of mosquito in your answer script. Your drawing must be bigger than the real mosquito itself, which means magnification will be above 1. So specimen that the size of the specimen itself, your drawing is bigger than it, you use more than 1. Then use your discretion. Even if you do a dot like this in your book, it's almost the size of a mosquito. And there is no way you draw a mosquito like this in your book. So they must give you, for example, at least 5 cm. So if you are drawing a mosquito, use your discretion. For the examiner to see the mosquito, well, you might have magnified it 5 times. So you can use for mosquito times 5. Yes, of course. But if you are drawing a bean weevil, very tiny, the Callosobrochus maculatus, this small-sized specimen, like insects, you have to use times 10, like bean weevil. Use times 10, of course, because there is no way your drawing will be the exact size. But if you're drawing the size of a specimen that can match the size of the drawing is can be the size of that object. Like if you're asked to draw mango and tell you maybe 8 to 10 cm or draw 5 to 8 cm. We have mango fruits that is up to that. So you can use times 1. So when you know that the object, the size can exactly be drawn and is equivalent to the size of the drawing given to you, you can use times 1. So I don't know whether you're understanding this thing I'm saying, because that, you don't need to go and waste your time. Okay, let's use gill, the gill of fish. It's obvious that the gill of fish in real life, that thing you drew in your book can be the exact size of the gill, but you know it's questionable to make that gill you drew times 5, as if it's a microscopic gill that was given to you. No, the gill we know, you know what we call gill. If you come to the head of a fish, if you open that bony plate known as the operculum, for those that enjoy the head of fish, maybe like you, sorry to say that. If you open it, you see gills, something lying there. That is what we call gill. You can draw the size. So in gill, you can say times 1, which is pardonable, but times 5 is wrong. So magnification has its own mark and is needed while doing your biological drawings. Let me summarize magnification again. It's just actually the size of your drawing all over, the size of the object that was provided to you. That's the size of the specimen. Then you can use times 1 for something that you can draw the exact size of it in the book. Like feather, quail feather. You can use times 1 because it's possible the examiner is not there to see the size, and they don't give teachers size. What they just say is provide quail feather. So, and there are beds of different sizes, and different sizes may have different size quail feather. But do something that is within the range. So when you say times 1, the examiner will not doubt that. But when you are drawing quail feather and you say times 10, no, it's questionable, because it is a specimen that is not too tiny. It can enter into your answer script within that range. Then, if you are asked to draw a specimen that is too big, maybe, let me use elephants, to draw and label elephant, it's obvious that there is no way you can squeeze the size of elephant in your book. Whatever you draw is going to be less than the elephant. So if your drawing is less than the specimen, you use times 0.5, times 0.1, depending on how big. But in exam, they don't go, I don't think they go below 0.5. Those specimens provided are not too big. Nobody can bring elephant for you. So among all the specimens like the atlas, all these things, you can use times 1, times 0.5. I didn't see any specimen that will use times 5 or times 10. Okay, that of mosquito, yes, can use something bigger than times 5 or 10. Okay, then if you are drawing a specimen that is almost equal, you use times 1. That is it for the rules of biological drawings. Then your lines of label must be straight. There's what we call straight lines of label. You must have straight lines of label and not overlapping or wavy lines of label. You keep your lines of label straight, and your lines of label should not cancel each other. Maybe I want to label here, then label here. No, this labeling is wrong. So your lines of label must be straight. And remember this thing I'm saying, it works in all or none manner. That is, it is either you get it or you lose it all. Then there is a confusion about, do we label 2 sides or do we label 1 side? My dear, it depends on the number of labels. And the examiner will usually limit the number of things you will label by telling you and label any 6 parts correctly for specimens that have numerous parts to label. Yes. So in that case, you label 1 side and make it straight and neat. Neat work, of course. Then you don't shade in biology, no matter what. No shading. Rather, you can use asterisks, dots, to differentiate layers. If, for example, you are drawing a fish, you know the fish, you just write V again, clean the other, that becomes the mouth of the fish. I don't know whether, though we don't have it here, let's assume we are asked to draw it. Draw another V, just have the eye here. Okay. So what assuming you want to show, this is just the operculum, you want to show the scales. You don't need to shade, just, and few scales are enough just to help you label. You are not required to fill everything with scale. Even in drawing of feather, the blade, the baboons, the rashes, the quail, in this case, you must not waste your time So let's assume you come here, just few lines, so that you can enable you label what it is. You must not waste your time filling everything, because these are the things that will tempt you to shade. So these are the rules in biological drawing. To run it through, your drawing must have a title. Then, secondly, your drawing must obey the size, draw within the size. Then straight lines of label, use sharp pointed pencil, don't use pen. Then label correctly. Yes, this is another thing that I forgot. Some people may point a part and label it wrongly. So, and don't allow your lines of label to cancel your drawing. I'll use this. Maybe I want to label, if this part should be labeled, I'll go and, instead of using this closer place, I'll go and run it like this. It's not in order because this has cancelled my lines of label. So let the lines of label be straight. In this case, if you have a after shaft, in this case, use ruler to make it. And remember, this straight line of label works in odd or non manner, meaning if you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe I got 5 correct and 1 is rough, you lose the whole mark. So make sure you keep your lines of label straight, and don't forget to put magnification. Magnification applies only to practical biology. It doesn't apply to theory. Why? Because there is no specimen provided for you during theory classes. Thank you. Don't forget to share and spread the light. Support Her Majesty Easy World. I am here for you, and you represent Majesty anywhere you are. Be majestic and remain. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chimeke Arize. I'm a third year medical student, and I am here to tell you to subscribe to Her Majesty Easy World, where science is fun.
I love you. Thank you for watching.